What's going on? My name is Princeton, founder and CEO of the Cineverse, and in today's video, we're going to show you how to produce content like a large media company, even if you don't have a large media budget. This is going to be a powerful talk, and make sure you stay to the end because we're going to show you how you can get this implemented on autopilot, which means it's basically done for you, and that's going to be powerful if you just don't have time to build out a lot of stuff we're talking about. But if you want to do it on your own, watch this video because this one's for you. Now, before we get started, I want you to put away the phones. If you're on a phone, log off any other browsers. Don't be looking at Instagram. Don't do any of that stuff because this information is going to be important. Lock in with me. Lock in with me real quick. Lock in with me real quick because this right here is going to be information that is so potent for your business that if you implement what I'm talking about in this talk today, I promise you will be able to produce content like a large media company. You'll have a strategy that is powerful, and I'm going to even give you some tools right within this video to understand how to use these different platforms, whether it's Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever the platform is of the day. You'll understand exactly how to make high quality content and produce it consistently. So let's get right into it. All right. So the Cineverse, let's tell you a little bit of backstory on us. Our whole goal is to challenge traditional thinking in order to help people reach their full potential and live a life of freedom. Don't you want to live a life of freedom? One where you can do the things you want. Or if you're doing your business or whatever you're doing, you have the tools that make it feel like it's a fun experience. You have the frameworks you need to succeed. That's what the Cineverse is about. We've done this for a long time, and the biggest thing we've learned is with social media is that most people fail. Most people fail. With marketing, most people fail. And the reason they fail nowadays is because social media has become such a big part of the business, and a lot of people don't know how to attack it. So let's look at this. Did you know 73% of adults have social media? Back in the day, it was a little bit different. Back in the day, maybe your grandma didn't have social media, but pretty much everybody you can think of. Your grandma's on social media. She's probably creeping on your page right now, but your grandma's on social media, your mom's on social media. And if they're not, count yourself as lucky because a lot of people's moms and grandmas on social media and they feel insecure about what they post. Just imagine posting some of this stuff and your people were watching. Well, 73% of adults have social media. But here's the thing, 97% of businesses fail at social media, and it's one simple reason. It's because they just don't understand how the mechanics work. But in this talk today, we're going to show you exactly how this works. Now, the Cineverse, we work with small and mid-sized businesses looking to scale their company, increase profits, and optimize their operations. Now, the key I want you to remember here is that we're looking to help you with your operations. We're looking to scale. We've worked with hundreds of companies implementing a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about today. And every company we've implemented this with, if they follow this to the letter, they see massive improvements. But if you just half-ass implement it, well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen is you're going to come back and say, I did your strategy and it doesn't work. And that's not on us. We want to make sure that you implement everything and it's powerful. And that's why at the end of this talk, I'm going to show you a way to make this even easier. Okay. Also, we've created social media courses. Now, one of our courses that we released a long time ago was the influencer. We've literally worked with hundreds of influencers to get the information. It was the 17 immutable laws of influence, and we talked about everything that you need to be a powerful influencer online. And this was vetted and improved by real influencers, people with millions of followers, people who have seen success online, who've actually made money online. And we have that course still available. If you want to go check it out, you can go to canibefamous.com. It'll pop up at the bottom of the screen here. Go check it out because that's going to be a great course for you if you're looking to understand, how to master social media for yourself. Okay, so why do so many companies fail? And it's very simple. It's a very simple reason. Most companies fail because they fail to implement an effective strategy for online. But here's the thing. Most people believe you have to have a certain swagger, you have to have a certain it factor in order to be successful on social media. But I can promise you that's not it. Because you could go around the internet right now and you could look this up. You could look this up after this video and find backpack influencer. I'm pretty sure somebody's on there reviewing backpacks and people are following them and people are like that person because they have an understanding of how to create valuable content in the space. So there's three big misconceptions, right? Or three big hurdles in order to creating content. One is producing consistent content. The second one is producing quality content. And the third one is making your content actionable. If you fix these three things, your content will go up. I'm just telling you, we've seen it in every business that we implement. But if you don't do these things, you're going to be one of those 97% of businesses that fail. And we don't want that for you. So that's why we're about to go through these one by one and show you ways that you can improve your business just by implementing this strategy that we're talking about. So the first thing we talk about in organizations, because this is for organizations, but If you're a solo person watching this, you can implement these strategies. You can even implement this with your friends if you really think about it. But just keep in mind that the whole engine that we're going to talk about here is a strategy you use to make sure you're consistently producing content. So let me introduce you to the content engine. The content engine is a strategy we use that allows us to come into organizations and very quickly turn them into a content machine. This is how we're going to help you produce content consistently like a media company. Now, on the slide before this, we talked about everyone being a content creator. What does this mean? So we'll go into companies, for example. I've worked in nightlife. In nightlife, you have bottle girls, you have promoters, you have all these different people. Well, as a company, this is a bunch of different people. Maybe it's disconnected, it's disjointed. You want to have content for your company. Of course, they want to build their personal brands. Maybe if you're the CEO, you want to build up your content. But how do you make sure that everybody's producing? Well, that's when we use the content engine. So the content engine, say, take somebody who's over there in the kitchen at your restaurant, and they can literally take video and they're going to drop it into a drop zone. So the first part of this would be content capture, which is anybody can capture content for you. Literally anybody can capture content for you. Anybody in your organization can capture content for you. You can capture content. You can have some social media intern capture content, because all the content ultimately is going to end up in the same place, which is a drop zone. There's a lot of ways you can make drop zones. You could have drop zones that are in Dropbox, Google Drive. We have some other ones that we like to use too that make it even faster, but the whole point is it ends up in the drop zone. From the drop zone, it is repurposed. Repurposing means that you have editors and content creators who know how to repurpose it, maybe add watermarks, maybe cut it up into reels. And then from there, you distribute it internally. So different departments may need to post it, or maybe other people in the organization who's the actual person who posts needs to get it first before they schedule it and put it out to the public. And then finally, external distribution, which is what you're familiar with, and that's posting. Now, each part of these chains we're going to talk about, but the biggest thing you need to understand about this is if you have people in place in all these steps, this is how it's done in a large organization. People are going to capture content wherever it's from. So, for example, you have a podcast. You have an hour-long podcast. That hour-long podcast is either grabbed from YouTube or wherever you put it, and it's dropped in a drop zone. In the drop zone, you have people who understand editing, and we train these people. A lot of times when people work with us, we'll actually train people in your organization, or we'll bring trained people into your organization, and they're going to understand how to cut this up and make it look like the stuff you see on the net today, whether it's Reels, whether it's TikToks, whether it's short form videos, cutting it up into smaller pieces, putting graphics and effects on it, cutting it up so it looks like your market or what you want it to look like. And then they internally distribute it, so the people who have to post it, they take that content and then they distribute it to all the social media platforms. Now with this, you no longer have to worry about all the parts of the pipeline, because you have somebody who's going to capture. Like I said, anybody can capture. And if you have long form content, it becomes really easy, because you just get that long form content, then you break it down to everybody else. And if you're doing live streaming, I can tell y'all this, that's a cheat code. You live stream, you don't have to edit it because you live streamed it the right way. And then boom, you break it down to the different aspects of the business. And that's a lot of stuff that we teach businesses when we come in. We show them how to do this, but that's the biggest thing you need to take from it. If you already got your long form piece of content, you put this system in place, and this is powerful. This is why we say it's for organizations, but you can really think of yourself this way. You're just doing all parts of the chain as a content creator. You need to have some type of content that you can capture consistently, whether it's long form content, cut that content down, repurpose that content, and then make sure you can distribute it. That's how you would modify it if you were just doing this by yourself. But as an organization, you get people to do all this, and this is what we really help people with when we come into the organization. Now let's talk about content quality. There's an old concept, and I think it's back from the 70s, and it's called the VRIN Score. Now what the VRIN Score stands for is a way to evaluate content to see if it's valuable. So there's 4 aspects of this. I'm not putting up 5. I'm saying it's 4. I'm just got my hand on a little bit. But there's 4 aspects to this. So value, rarity, inimitable, and non-substitutable. So value, is it valuable to your audience? This is key. Just because you think it's valuable, is it valuable to your audience? This goes down to your target market, your customer personas. If you understand this about business, then you shouldn't have a problem creating content that is valuable for your audience, because you know what they want. Rarity. How easy is it to find it somewhere else? If it's very rare, rarity doesn't necessarily have to mean it's something that people haven't seen before. It could be, it's like comedy. If you tell a joke that's new, then it's rare. Or if you're able to tell jokes consistently that are funny, then you're rare. I saw this person the other day on Instagram. They're able to do these loops, but The loops are so effective that if you watch it, it looks like the reel never ends. It just keeps starting over and keeps starting over and keeps starting over. And I thought that was very impressive and it was very rare. Inimitable. How difficult is it to imitate you? Now they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but if it's very difficult to imitate you, which means that people don't know how you do things or they don't know how to make that type of content, then it's going to make the content a lot more valuable because they're saying, I can't get this content from anywhere else. Non-substitutable. Now, non-substitutable may sound the same as inimitable, but what it really means is that it's very difficult to substitute you in. This could be with a personality. Say, for example, if a character leaves a show and then you try to just put another person in there and it's just not the same, it's non-substitutable. The same thing when it comes down to saying having a proprietary type of thing that you do. Let's say you created a proprietary formula. It's going to be very difficult to replace you because people don't have that formula. So think about that when you're creating your content. Now, what you want to do with every piece of content that you produce, you want to put it on a scale from 1 to 10. How high does it score on each of these areas? And then we're able to assess content quality. But we're going to take this even a step further. Now that we understand how to assess content quality, you may be asking yourself, what should I be posting? Okay, I got you. Next thing we're going to talk about is the content map. Now, I love the content map because the content map is basically breaking down the 5 types of posts that people post on social media. Let's go through these really quickly. It's motivational, educational or entertainment, educational, entertainment, promotional, instructional. So those are the 5 types of posts that people post. Now, motivation, you're used to those things that motivate you. You wake up, motivational quotes. Maybe somebody's on there talking about how you got to grind, you got to work 17 hours a day and stuff like that. Just something that motivates you to get you motivated to do what you're doing. If it's in fitness, maybe somebody's working out, maybe somebody's getting you motivated of getting through the day or getting to the gym. So this is motivational content. Entertainment, things that are funny. Now, one thing you'll notice about this is you can intertwine these things together. So something can be both entertaining and motivational. So don't get too caught up on it has to be a specific thing. It can cross over. Educational content. Now, educational is not the same as instructional. The difference is educational content tends to be backstory, giving insight to maybe an industry. So for example, if I told you the history of marketing, then that would be an educational post. Instructional, and before I talk about promotional, I'll talk about instructional because educational and instructional seem related. Instructional is more step by step. This is more instructional what I'm talking about because I'm literally teaching you a strategy that you can use in order to get content flowing consistently in your business. The difference here is if this was just an educational post, I might just give you backstory about why social media exists, what are the pros and cons of social media, and I probably would present it in a very different format. But we have this, and we want you to take this in and just really pay attention to this because this will be powerful if you understand this. And finally, promotional. We're used to that. This is what most businesses do. They just post promotional content, promoting their business. But even if you're posting these different types of content, we're going to talk about something in a second that you can still get that promotion in, even if you're not just flat out saying, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Because like I say, that's not really going to work in the modern world because a lot of people are looking to get more value before they purchase with you. So many options nowadays. Let's talk about content templates. Now, if you've ever been on Instagram, social media like TikTok or even YouTube Shorts, you'll start to see there's a pattern to how this content is created. And the key is you can understand how to use this content to make your own template so you have an unlimited stream of content. Now here, I have a bunch of what I call content templates. If you go on social media, you'll see a lot of these, right? For example, when you. I had a friend that just had a post they posted and says, when you thought you had a simp, and it was very funny. But the whole thing is you use these formats and just break it down to something that's related to your business, right? If you have a restaurant, when they first bite into that specialty sandwich and it's like, damn, or something like that, you just use that as one of your formats. But by understanding these different formats, all these different formats, you have a constant stream of things that you can create. So I put some examples over here on the side. Like it could be something as simple as TikTok made me buy this, or this made me buy this, or this thing will change your life. Me. That's another very popular meme format, which is like me. People, or I saw a funny one the other day. It said nobody. And said entrepreneurs on podcast. He's like, when you want to wake up at 1:47 in the morning, you don't want to eat, you don't want to drink. It was just a funny meme. But the whole point is it was using this format. They just figured out a way to format it for their business specifically. You can do this for anything. You can do this for restaurant, fitness, anything. You can literally take the stuff that you see done and then format it for your business. They have this great one that's going around right now with Joe Biden. It's like when he's saying he no longer thinks, it's like where he was basically mumbling. And in there, people have taken it and turned it into a fitness meme where it's like after the last client of the day, and then he's on there mumbling, saying crazy stuff. But they figured out how to format it for their business. So just because you see something, think of these formats and think about how to create these content templates. And if you're using the VRIN score and you're using what we talked about with the content map, is it a motivational post? Is it entertainment? Is it educational? You'll learn how to do these. Another one is documentation. I always like to do documentation. This is good, works good with story formats, but just showing people what you're doing. So I want to show you how you can do boom right now. So you might be actually about to instruct them on how to do something. Or so today we're boom. What that format looks like is maybe we're filming right now. So if I took out my camera right now and I was like, hey, so right now we're filming a video for the content engine. Boom, I'm documenting, I'm putting it on my story, I'm bringing people in it. But having this framework in your head, you understand how to produce content quickly. And the key is you can take these formats and you can give them to other people in your organization, and now they understand how to produce content. Remember I said in the beginning, everyone's a content creator. If everybody on your team and everybody on your organization understands how to use this, the people who participate in this will give your company a lot of content because you can use all that and leverage all that in that drop zone. A person repurposes it. So everybody doesn't even have to be good at social media. They could literally just be the people who are captioning and be like, I'm going to capture stuff, but I'm not participating in the social media. That's fine, because when it gets repurposed, boom, it becomes company content. So they have content for themselves. And then even on apps like Instagram, you can collaborate with people so they can post it on their story and then post it on your story. And of course, you should have brand guidelines so they're not posting shit that's not in line with your business. So just think about that. How to informational. So once again, pretty simple. Some formats that are good there: cheat codes, secrets for, shortcuts to what they don't want to tell you about, or picture yourself. All these things are things that you would put there and just put the end on there. So cheat codes, secrets for how to find the best restaurants in Houston, right? That would be a post and people are like, okay, how you find the best restaurants in Houston? It could be a document that shows them for your ebook or your information or your tour guides or your travels. It doesn't matter what it is. The possibilities are endless. I'm just trying to give you ideas because this is how large companies do it. They understand these formats, and then when they give this to their teams, everybody produces at a very high level. And no matter what the platform, even if it's YouTube, something that's long form, they're still using those 5 types of posts. It's just maybe intertwined with different stuff. Something's very educational, something's very entertaining. You can even build whole businesses off just one or two types of posts. So just look what works for you. So let's talk about how the content engine works. And it's very good to get a visual like this, a process map, a flow chart, so you can see it. So a content creator, like I said, that's anybody who creates content in your organization. If you have somebody, say for example, us, we have our group editing sessions that we do. So if somebody from the company is coming to the group editing session, they're like, hey, going to the company editing session, they've essentially just created content. There's a couple ways I could use that. They could tag the company and then boom, right there. That's just very simple. Don't even have to go through the rest of this process. Or let's say everybody's recording from different angles and then they all drop it into the drop zone. Once it gets into the drop zone here, it gets repurposed by the editor. The editor puts together this highlight reel of everything that happened during the editing session. Is like when you work at the Cineverse, boom, and it's like all this different stuff. Or when you work for your company, all this different stuff is going. But everybody contributed in that piece of content. They didn't even have to know how to edit because we have somebody who knows how to repurpose. And like we said, in our organization, we actually train people, and we go to other organizations. We actually train people in our organizations to do this stuff, so they're able to make sure this content is flowing, it's going, it's making an impact. Then finally, we drop it back off to the pickup zone. And in the pickup zone, it's either going back to the content creator. So let's say you're the content creator, your company's the content creator, and you have your staff drop you pieces of content for your personal brand. Well, you could have maybe 20 pieces of content that they drop you because they've all taken the same piece of content and cut it up in different ways. And then you just choose which ones you want to post. Or if you're a business and you have a social media person there who schedules the content on something like, say, Buffer or Hootsuite, it's going to go to them. They're going to pick it up from the content zone, schedule it, and then they're going to post it on the platform of your choice. It's really that simple. And the whole thing is implementing it is the whole process that makes this powerful. But this is how we master content consistency and content quality. And then the final piece of this puzzle is actionability. Most people miss this subtle, fundamental thing when they're creating all this content. So you're creating all this great content. You're putting out all this great content. You're on social media and you're dominating. But at the end of your videos, you forget to tell them what to do next. This is probably the number one reason I see people fail on social media. Whenever you do something, it's important for you to understand that there has to be a next steps. What happens next? And what happens next is very simple. What happens next is you're going to go to this place. You're going to click on this button. That's what they call to actions. Subscribe now, download. If you watch even YouTube videos, the call to action is usually they're going to ask you mid video, hey, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching on on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the video. It's a very simple piece of content, but the whole point is it's very effective to make sure that you remind people to do certain things. So if a person likes the content, you should be like, this is the next thing to do. This is the next step in the chain. This is what you should be focusing on next. And by doing that, you're going to have a cohesive strategy just by mastering these three things. So what's next? We've gone through the content engine and it's very simple. And I told you, I tell you a way to do this and get it done for you really easily. So if you like this strategy and you're like, man, this sounds like a good thing that I can implement in my own business, and you feel like you have the team ready and the people in place, I want you to click below in the description and go to the website and sign up for a free consultation with our team. We're going to walk you through this process and we're going to talk to you to see if you're the person who's right for this. I can tell you right now, if you're right for this, this is one of the best things you could do for your business. So don't even think about it. Click below or go to offers.thecentiverse.com and sign up for a free consultation with us. Get on the phone with us and say, hey, I'm ready to get my content going. What do I need to implement? We will literally talk through it, or one of our consultants, or even I might hop on the phone and talk to you directly about what you need to do in your business in order to get your content rolling so you can start producing like a large media company, and you won't have to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to do it if you do this efficiently. And by the time you get to that point, you should be making enough money because you got so much content going out and you got your business on point. So if you think you're a good fit for this, go click in the description right now or go to offers.thecentiverse.com and click on the free consultation button and get on the phone with us, because we're going to help you build this content out. We're going to make sure that you're able to produce this at a very high level. I want to see you on the other side. The right thing to do is make a decision for your business so you can start creating content today. If all you did was find one thing that would help you start producing on a very high level, I'm pretty sure it'd be worth it to you. So if your business is worth it, if you feel like content is not where it needs to be and you're trying to figure out that puzzle piece, you've got a good business and it's running and you feel like I got all this other stuff, but I'm really not mastering that social media, hop on the phone with us today. We put this together for you, but if you want to implement this yourself, everything you need is right there. We've seen it with a bunch of companies, but now we want to see if it works for you. See you inside the content engine.